Welcome back to the deep dive. If you enjoyed our first look into Daniel McMahon's Parenthood Unplugged, well, you're definitely in the right place today.
Yeah, we're carrying right on.
We are. We're continuing that exploration, looking at these really diverse paths to parenthood. And today it's all about pulling out those, uplifting practical insights.
The stuff that actually works, based on real experiences.
Exactly. From pregnancy, adoption, foster parenting. We know families get built in so many ways, and we want to unpack some of the real stuff, the joys and the challenges.
And it's amazing how personal each journey is, isn't it? Becoming a parent,
Yeah,
it hits differently for everyone.
totally. So whether it's biology or opening your home through adoption or fostering.
Right, providing that stability, each one gives you a unique perspective on, well, raising kids.
And understanding these different routes, it's just valuable. Maybe you're thinking about these options. Maybe you're just curious about how families form today.
Absolutely. There's something here for everyone, I think.
Okay, so let's kick off with pregnancy. Those early stages, they certainly make themselves known, don't they?
Yeah, unmistakable signals.
That sudden, need for pickles at 2 a.m. or suddenly hating a food you used to love.
Oh, definitely. The sources really paint a picture of those first weeks, the
Yeah.
tiredness that's more than just, oh, I'm a bit tired.
Yeah, deep fatigue and the nausea, they can stick around.
It really can, but what's kind of amazing physiologically speaking is just how the body adapts. It's incredible.
Right.
Hormonal shifts are just huge, getting everything ready. You see the obvious changes like the growing belly, but also internal things, breast tenderness, even stretch marks. They're like a little souvenir of the skin doing amazing things.
A souvenir, I like that. And yeah, let's be real about the less glamorous bits, the heartburn, swollen feet, the famous pregnancy waddle.
We have to mention the waddle. But alongside all that, there's often this sense of, wow, this is actually happening.
That inherently miraculous feeling the sources talk about. Your body just knows what to do.
Yeah. And then those first movements.
Oh, the flutters.
Those tiny fluttering kicks. Such a private, intimate thing. Some people even start bonding then, right?
Yeah.
Playing music for the baby, talking to them.
Responding to the kicks. It's like a little secret language.
It really is. And emotionally, it's just as dynamic. Those hormones, again.
Big time.
They affect neurotransmitters, so you get this wider range of feelings. Highs, followed by lows, sometimes really quickly.
Totally unpredictable sometimes.
And knowing it's physiological can help, for both the person going through it and their partner. Helps build empathy.
That's a great point. And it's funny how pregnancy can bring up weird nostalgia too, right? Like longing for the past while you're heading into this massive future change.
Yeah, it's complex, and society tends to show the glowing, easy version.
Right. The perfect Instagram pregnancy.
Exactly. But the sources suggest it's often more like a comfy, but maybe a bit frayed, well-worn sweater. Real, not always perfect.
And accepting all of that, the good and the tricky, is so important.
Yeah, crucial. Talking about it is key. Sharing with your partner, friends who've been there, finding a support group.
Yeah, knowing you're not alone and feeling whatever you're feeling.
Just being open and honest about the whole experience, physical and emotional.
Which brings us to that gap between expectations and reality. You might picture yourself full of energy.
And then you're breathless walking up the stairs.
Exactly. Or those really specific odd food cravings. Our sources definitely highlight how the romanticized version isn't always the full picture.
And don't forget the advice.
Oh, the unsolicited advice. Everyone's an expert.
Yeah, learning to filter that is a skill. It's about figuring out what works for you.
So getting reliable info is key then, from trusted places.
Definitely. Good websites, books, and antenatal classes are fantastic for that. They give you solid information, prepare you for labor, birth, early baby care.
And connect you with other parents-to-be.
Exactly. It helps ground those expectations in reality.
And building a supportive environment around you, that seems critical too.
Absolutely. The partner's role is massive, going to appointments, just being there emotionally through the ups and downs.
Even the home atmosphere, like keeping things calm.
Yeah, soothing colors, soft lighting. It all contributes. Plus, gentle exercise, prenatal yoga, support groups, they all help. Mindfulness exercises, too, for managing the emotional side.
Good call. And thinking beyond the pregnancy. Prepping for after the baby arrives.
Yes. Beyond just the crib and the cute outfits, the sources really stress having a postpartum care plan.
Okay, so what does that look like? A plan for help.
Pretty much. Thinking ahead about who can help with chores, maybe finding parent groups, how you'll manage feeding, balancing rest with looking after a newborn, and crucially, self-care.
Self-care feels like the first thing to go out the window, though.
It often is, which is why planning for it helps, even tiny things. Our sources also mention checking out community resources groups for new parents, great for sharing tips, busting myths, building confidence.
And maybe journaling.
Yeah.
Or finding a few minutes for a hobby.
Yeah, self-reflection, carving out tiny bits of time for yourself, whether it's reading or just sitting quietly.
So there's this reflection exercise mentioned.
Yeah.
Crafting your postpartum care plan.
Right. It prompts you to think, who can help practically? Do I want to join a group? How will I actually rest? And importantly, what small self-care things can I realistically aim for?
Like 5 minutes of meditation.
Yeah.
Or just a walk around the block.
Exactly. Achievable goals, a quiet cup of tea even. It's about making it a conscious part of the plan.
It makes sense. Ultimately, pregnancy sounds like this incredibly varied journey. Lots of unexpected turns.
Definitely. Finding strength when you feel vulnerable, finding joy in small moments. Every single experience is unique.
And connecting with others seems like a really valuable part of it all.
Hugely important. Okay, shall we shift gears to adoption?
Let's do it. Another really meaningful way to build a family, filled with hope, anticipation, and, as the sources cheekily note, quite a bit of paperwork.
Huh. Yes, the paperwork. They compare it to a complex puzzle, which feels about right. Every step matters.
Okay, so where does that puzzle start? Research.
Usually, yeah. Lots of reading books, blogs, forums, maybe going to information sessions or workshops run by agencies.
Gathering the pieces first?
Exactly. Then comes a really big step. Choosing an adoption agency. You want one that aligns with your values and one that really knows how to handle all the legal stuff.
Right, navigating the system. And then the home study. That sounds intense.
It can feel that way. The sources describe it as a thorough evaluation, making sure the home is stable, safe, nurturing.
So visits from a social worker.
Background checks.
Yep. Interviews, safety checks, background checks. It's all focused on the child's well-being.
Yeah.
But it also often makes people reflect deeply on why they want to adopt, if they're ready, that kind of thing.
Interesting. And the final step is the legal bit.
That's right. Lawyers, court dates, signing the final papers. That moment the judge makes it official. Apparently, it's incredibly powerful. The formal start of the new family chapter.
Wow. Okay, so the adoption is finalized. Then comes building that connection with the child, which is a gradual thing. It needs loads of patience, understanding, and really consistently building trust. Kids need to feel safe and love to settle in.
And the sources talk about incorporating their history, their background.
Yes, hugely important. Their culture, past experiences, it's part of who they are. So maybe learning about their birth country's traditions, celebrating cultural festivals, cooking traditional foods.
Finding books about their culture.
Exactly. Making sure the child feels connected to their roots, that those roots are valued within the new family.
And talking about the adoption itself, how does that work?
Openly and honestly, in an age-appropriate way. Creating a space where questions are okay, sharing details as the child gets older and can understand more. It shouldn't be a secret or a one-off chat.
Make it part of the family story.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Normalize it. Use books and media that show diverse families. Maybe even make a family scrapbook together that includes the adoption story.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah.
But it's not always smooth sailing, emotionally.
No, it can be complex. Kids might deal with attachment issues or questions about identity, self-esteem, figuring out how their past fits with their present.
So what helps then?
Empathy, endless patience, and sometimes professional help. Therapists who specialize in adoption can be invaluable for the child and the parents. Support groups for adoptive families are great too. Sharing experiences helps.
Connecting with others who get it.
Yeah, and consciously creating those inclusive family narratives we talked about. The photo album, maybe an annual adoption day celebration with storytelling.
Making it a positive part of the family identity.
Exactly. And talking about family diversity openly, not just in the house, but with wider family, friends, the community.
Schools and communities celebrating different family types helps too, I bet.
It makes a huge difference. Connecting with other adoptive families or cultural clubs can also build that sense of belonging.
It sounds like an incredible journey overall, creating families based on love and understanding.
Definitely. Challenges come up, but they're seen as chances to grow closer. And finding support, maybe through local adoption networks, is key. It reminds you you're not alone.
A special mention here again for the author, Daniel McMahon, whose work, Parenthood Unplugged, provides such rich insights into these experiences.
Absolutely. His work really helps illuminate these paths. It's about building those lasting connections through shared moments, open conversations, inclusive stories. That's how adoptive families really thrive.
Creating environments where everyone feels truly valued. Okay, let's talk about our third path, foster parenting.
Right, another really unique and vital role.
Our sources describe it beautifully as opening your home, and maybe more importantly, your heart, to the unknown.
Hmm. Providing stability when things are uncertain for a child. That's the core of it.
Yeah.
Foster parents become caregivers, mentors, often huge advocates.
Fighting for the child's needs when they can't be with their biological family.
Exactly. And placements vary, don't they? Some are short-term, aiming for reunification.
While others might eventually lead to adoption.
Right. But whatever the time frame, foster parents are advocating daily, working with social services, caseworkers, sometimes the courts, and yes, there's paperwork involved there too.
Always paperwork, but it's necessary, right, to ensure the child's safety and future.
Absolutely. And despite the challenges, because there definitely are challenges, the rewards are described as just immense.
Like what? What kind of rewards?
Well, learning incredible patience, dealing with difficult behaviors, for one, but also the pure joy of seeing milestones, first words, first steps, maybe just the first time a child really smiles at you with trust.
Oh, that must be amazing.
It requires huge emotional resilience, but foster parents often talk about how much they grow personally. Each child leaves a mark.
You learn from them too.
Totally. And creating that safe, supportive environment is job one.
We talked about routines earlier. That's key here too.
Absolutely paramount. Predictable house rules, daily routines, they give kids a sense of security they might desperately need. Consistency with bedtime, expectations, that all helps.
Making their space feel like their own.
Yes, letting them personalize their room a bit and fostering open communication, encouraging them to talk, really listening with empathy, that builds trust.
Group activities, like art or cooking.
Great ideas. And maybe a nurturing activity calendar, positive reinforcement, connection. It all helps build those bonds.
And sometimes fostering does transition to adoption.
It does. And that involves, careful thought, emotional readiness, understanding the legal side court, more paperwork, maybe adjusting the home study.
Emotional preparation sounds huge there.
Definitely. Support groups specifically for foster to adopt families can be really helpful during that transition. Journaling again for reflection.
So the core of foster parenting is resilience
Yeah,
and celebrating the small wins.
I think so. Embracing the challenges, celebrating every little victory, bringing hope and healing to a child's life, and being part of that wider support network, other foster parents, professionals.
It sounds incredibly demanding, but also incredibly meaningful.
It really does. It's a beacon of hope, showing real kindness and nurturing.
And the sources wrap it up by saying it offers amazing chances for personal growth and fulfillment.
Yeah, friends and family might not always fully get it, the complexities. But the connections formed with these kids, they're transformative for everyone involved.
Wow. So pregnancy, adoption, foster parenting, very different paths,
Very different experiences, different challenges, different joys.
but all united by that fundamental desire to love, to nurture, to build a
I
family.
mean, that commitment. Absolutely.
Well, we really hope diving into these lived experiences has given you, our listeners, some genuinely uplifting and useful insights.
These journeys are just remarkable, aren't they? All the different beautiful ways families come together and grow strong.
Huge thanks for joining us for this deep dive. And seriously, a massive thank you to all of you listening. This show grows because you tune in, because you engage.
We really appreciate it.
If you found this helpful or interesting, please do think about subscribing. Maybe share it with someone else who might benefit. Let's keep learning together. Keep turning pain into parenting power.
And another shout out to Daniel McMahon for Parenthood Unplugged, such valuable perspectives.
Absolutely. So, as we wrap up, maybe something to think about.
Yeah.
Just consider that incredible tapestry of families out there, all woven together through these different equally valid paths.
Each story unique, each family powerful. It really highlights the strength of love and connection, doesn't it?